Hello, welcome back to Really Good at Theaters, where we chat about and discuss all sorts of movies. My name is Gary O'Brien, and joining me today, once again, it's Mr. Cian O'Driscoll, as we talk about the 1988 Dirty Harry thriller, The Deadpool. So stick around, we hope you enjoy. Mr. Cian O'Driscoll, how do?
How do? I mean, ciao.
Oh, yes, because you're not in Ireland anymore. You're in Italy, so I forgot. Do I need to get an interpreter for this? Do I need to...
No, just your bog standard green Collins dictionary, pocket dictionary will do.
Excellent. Because you're actually doing all of this in Italian, and I've hired someone who sounds like you to interpret all of this.
They have all my mannerisms and Keenerisms and...
Keenerisms, yeah.
See, yeah.
See? Excellent. Well, thank you for coming back. It's been a year. It's been literally a year to the day since we last did a podcast. It's been too long.
Certo.
My interpreter is clearly not very good.
No, it has. It's been remarkable the way you actually planned it. Been exactly a year to the day.
I think it's a year to the give or take a day. But yeah, because last year obviously was the Brosnan O'Brien Birthdays Bros Bonanza, where we did a Pierce Brosnan movie with Liam Neeson and was a western. But this year, because I've recently been doing kind of just the kind of monthly recaps with Mr. Scanlon, and I believe this is coming out after the April recap, where I announce what the theme is. But if you haven't listened to that, this month I've decided to once again make it all about me and drag all my friends on, because I don't particularly like my birthday, but I like making my friends do things they don't want to do. So I'll use my birthday as an advantage to get them to talk about movies with my favorite actors. So all of my friends were very obliging. You'll know if I don't, because there'll be more episodes after that if there isn't already, so who knows. Except for one, and that's Cian O'Driscoll, who whenever I tell him the actor, he says no, and then it's up to me to research a movie that actor's in. So last time it was like, do you want to do Pierce Brosnan? Cian was like, no, and I was like, what about this western with Liam Neeson? And he was like, fine. So
I'm pretty sure I suggested that. You didn't know Pierce Brosnan was in it.
Yeah, well, okay, because you had initially been like, no, I'm not doing it. And you were like, but I do have this one movie I will do with no, alternatives. So, what I've decided to do as well is I've called this, Brosnan O'Brien Birthdays Bros Bonanza, in my opinion, complete success. Not only from an execution point of view, but from a naming convention only. So a lot to live up to. So what I've decided to call the Jim Carrey month is...
Hit us up here.
I don't have it ready.
You don't have it ready. Go on.
Yeah. This might change in the Instagram, because I've only really thought about it yesterday, so it could still change. But at this moment in time of recording, this month, this event is called The Unnecessary and Involuntary Legendary Visionary Jim Carrey Library Commentary, done by Gary and a very wary honorary adversary for my customary anniversary, i.e. my birthday. So, Cian O'Driscoll, once again, you're one of the first people up to talk about it. So, what we've decided, and I'm talking far too long for this.
I know, yeah.
Is we have found. I know. I'm sorry. I'm trying to set it up. Because people are going to click into this and be like, "What's the Deadpool?" And I just really want to hone in on why I'm doing this. So we found a movie that stars Jim Carrey and Clint Eastwood, and that's how I've managed to get rope Cian into this month's spectacular event.
And Liam Neeson, which ties it in. It's a beautiful...
It's very interesting.
Yeah. I didn't... Now, it's the fifth one of the Dirty Harrys. So...
The fifth and final.
The fifth and final. So, I'm a big fan of Clint Eastwood, as I'd imagine everyone knows at this point, but big fan of the Dirty Harrys, and I couldn't remember if I'd watched this one or not, but I'd completely forgotten that Jim Carrey was in it. So when you mentioned that to me, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Perfect.
Yeah, and He's not in it for very long, but it still counts. I'm
Still
going
counts.
with it.
And he leaves such an impression in the first
Oh,
10
well,
minutes.
to be honest, I have it down in my notes that it's actually so I had never seen a Dirty Harry movie before 2 days ago, and I have now watched Dirty Harry and the Force sequels from that. But I still think the Jim Carrey bit in this movie is my favorite part of all of the Dirty Harry movies. Gonna make that bold statement and see Cian get very angry. His interpreter doesn't really know what to do because he's using a lot of Italian slur words. But I don't know if that's a thing or not. But yeah, so we've gone with the Deadpool. It's not the Ryan Reynolds superhero movie. We've done an anti-Justin Timberlake. We've added the instead of taking it out. That's a reference I don't think Cian gets, but maybe some of you do. But that's what we've gone with. Cian, what is... Okay, yeah, so like, I don't know if a lot of people have seen the Dirty Harry movies or let alone have heard of the Deadpool. So I could ask what the Deadpool's about, but I guess just to give people an idea of the franchise or series that is Dirty Harry, who is Dirty Harry? Why is he so dirty? Tell us about this filthy Harold.
Can I just throw in something now that I've done no prep work for this at all? So
Yeah.
this is probably going to be terrible.
But that's all it. Like who? Like to someone who'd never heard of Dirty Harry before. What is he as a character? Like,
he's just a tough ass cop. Like, you know, he just gets the job done. It's like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. Like, he just fucking gets it done. Do you know? Okay, another thing. I'm going to curse a lot again. I can't stop.
Apologizing for the cursing. Don't worry, it's not you. It's your interpreter.
But he's just like, a really tough cop. He doesn't care too much about, his rep. He just likes fucking getting the job done, getting bad guys behind bars, and he's also really, really, really not afraid to pull a gun. In fact, we might say that he actually finds it the preferred option is just to shoot them.
Yeah, that's because, again, I cannot stress how fresh the Dirty Harry franchise is in my head, having watched it all in the last 2 days. But my God, like, that man has never once said the word freeze or hands up. He's just gone bang, you're dead.
And it's like one shot. It's like one sheet. It's like one shot does plenty. He doesn't waste bullets.
Bang, and the criminal is gone. But it's what's so funny about this franchise is because it starts out in like 1981, maybe, let's say, with a fresh-faced Clint Eastwood, and it goes all the way till 1988 until he's like, I think the movie we just watched, he's 58 in, and it's so funny just seeing this 58-year-old man still trying to pull off the stunts of a whatever age. He was too old to begin with, and he just kept getting old.
Doesn't matter how sprightly, or you don't have to be sprightly when you can pull a gun like that.
Thing, and this is my other strong point on this franchise is I've shot a Magnum gun. Not like this was it was a shooting range. It wasn't just all of a sudden I just went to be crazy. But I was at a shooting range once, and I don't think I shot a 44 Magnum. I think I shot like a smaller version of it. And I have a video of me, like the recoil off it, and I was holding it with my 2 hands, and it's like it just fucking bounces up so quickly. Yeah. And to see this like 58-year-old man one-handed just walking around a corner, just bang, you're dead, just like so casually shooting this 44 Magnum. It's quite insulting, and
but they say that about him, and I can't remember. Like, it's him. We probably mentioned this in another podcast, knowing me or anything. I don't know too many facts, but there's definitely a fact with him and some other. It's like, and this might have changed, but at the time I heard it, which I can't remember when it was. Anyway, but him and another actor are the only 2 actors. It might have been Sergey. No, they're the only ones that didn't blink when they shot a gun. They're
yes.
They're like, so I think it's just like he's very fucking used to shooting. He must practice or something,
Yeah. No, there is something about not blinking, but also just dealing with the recoil of a fucking 44 Magnum, Keaton.
He's just so cool when he does it. Like, You know, and I don't mean like, well, he
Yeah.
is cool, but he's just very relaxed.
Calm, relaxed, yeah. No, it's a really interesting character because, like you said, like he doesn't give a shit, and I think it's been like having watched all 5 movies. I know we're technically talking about the Deadpool, but I will be talking about the franchise as a whole. In that one, it's very much the same movie 5 times. It's kind of a very similar. It's like Scream. When I was watching it, I don't know if you ever watched any of the Scream movies where it's the same format effectively 5 times now, but it's very much like Dirty Harry. But what I kind of find interesting about the franchise is they find a new topic to kind of hone in on each time. So like the first one, it was all to do with like how criminals can get off, to do with like legality and how like there's like loopholes in the legal system that criminals can like slip through. The second one's all to do with like police brutality and how like police can take matters into their own hands. Yeah, vigilantism, exactly. The third one's to do with like freedom fighters and stuff like that, and like different sort of groups taking again the law into their own hands in a way. The fourth one's all to do with like a rape case that's kind of like, you know, leads that line of like what is justice, like what is like, you know, how bad is the crime versus how bad is the judgment / the punishment. And then this movie is really interesting because it's kind of all links to do with like celebrity fame, media hype. Yeah. So again, I haven't said this to you before, I don't think they're particularly good movies. Sorry to tell you. Would you believe after me watching 5 of them? But I think they do very interesting things. And it's quite interesting seeing this one constant being Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry. By the way, bit of a grievance on my behalf. They didn't use the Gorillaz song Dirty Harry once. I know that's a song that came out after these movies came out, but there's been re-releases. Why is the Gorillaz song not in this, huh? Tell me that, Cian. Anyway, but it's been interesting seeing the character. That's been a Gary grievance. But yeah, it's been very interesting to see that character deal with that, like different issues kind of going through the franchise and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so. But it's also like, I don't know, they kind of suit the time as well. And he definitely did a lot of the same kind of those kind of like cop or action kind of movies as well. Like he seems to fit like 2 kind of roles, or well, no, that's not fair. But like mostly it's like these kind of action, you know, city action kind of movies, and then there's the westerns.
Yeah.
And he plays it really well. But it's just like he's a great actor, but sometimes he can, you know, don't expect too much else out of him, really. And I think they probably just ticked a lot of boxes at the time that they were released.
Well, this one is the shortest one, the one we watched, the Deadpool. It's the shortest Dirty Harry movie, but apparently it was the quickest turnaround in that it was greenlit in January and came out in July. So they clearly had the recipe so down. They were like, we know exactly how to
bang it out.
So yeah. So just to give people an idea of what the Deadpool is about, it's effectively a movie in which there is a Hollywood actor that's murdered on set, and it's discovered that there is this like group of people that have a Deadpool, which is basically they've guessed a certain amount of celebrities that are going to die within a certain amount of time, and all of a sudden it's looking like one person's list, all the celebrities on that seem to keep dying, and then it's all about trying to catch that person. That's what the Deadpool's about. It's literally just trying to figure it out. It's just a fun mystery. You go from person to person trying to figure it all out. And I will say the mystery in this is quite good because in the other movies, maybe not the second one so much, you didn't really know who the killer was, but in this one it's very much like you've no idea until the end, I guess, who the killer is. Yeah.
Which I'm often not kind of like a fan of, because it's just like he can just he just introduce a character kind of halfway towards the end, or, you know, 3/4 of the way, and it's like I kind of wish sometimes movies are a bit smarter and they're, you know, or cliched, and, you know, they're introduced in like the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
You don't see it happening.
Yeah, and I guess this kind of brings me on to another question I kind of wanted to ask you, because you're a man who loves your like 1970s, 1980s action movies, in the sense that we've done. Well, I'm just doing this in Josie Wales. What do you think is different between action movies then versus action movies now? Like, what do you see as the big thing maybe action movies are missing these days versus I guess what they're adding. I haven't like briefed you on this, but it was just kind of I thought as someone as well versed as yourselves on movies of the 80s.
Again, I'm not too technical, or I'm not as used to this now as you might be. But like one of the things I noticed was that like a lot of the action scenes are slowed down.
Yeah.
Like car flips or people getting thrown through windows, or they're slowed down shots or scenes. Whereas I think in kind of action movies nowadays, you don't really see too much scenes slowed down. I don't think, anyway.
I definitely agree, because like I think one of the things from watching these movies, it was like when someone's getting shot, I feel like they're getting shot at, and I feel like I can see cars buckle, I can see bullet holes, like, and you're just like I know the actors aren't in danger, but I know there is like the production is there to make it look like they are. Whereas like these days, I feel like there's like CGI glass breaking, CGI bullets, and it doesn't feel real and gritty. Whereas I think these movies, and actually this movie in particular, because there's a great scene in an elevator, that like it just that you feel the tension and you don't know if the characters are going to come out alive or not.
Yeah, and like it does make it seem more real, and like I think that was more of an emphasis, back then, making movies, whereas now it's more about like the action that's kind of like surprised the viewer or shock them, like shock factor.
It's kind of like focusing on the spectacle rather than
The
I guess
incident.
the story, and like trying to just like represent the danger of a scene.
Yeah, and like I think another thing that movies back then did a lot better was I think they used a lot more natural lighting.
Yes, very true. But that's probably
Like
because they did it all on set and on location.
on location. So like even just the way, if it's a sunny day, the way the sun's hitting them, it makes it look more real. Now, obviously, when they're in the buildings and when they're in the warehouse towards the end, like, and I think in the first scene as well, where he's getting followed by the two car or your man's hitmen, there's a lot of blue light, a lot of But I think in general, when they use natural light, and it makes it a lot more realistic.
Yeah, and I think just again, because I'm gonna keep drawing comparisons between this movie and the other Dirty Harry movies. It's like I don't know if you recall in the first Dirty Harry movie where it's the sniper killing the woman on the roof.
Yeah.
Like the scene where like Dirty Harry is going from one roof to another, and there's like the backdrop of San Francisco and the music, and I can't be shocked by the music of this franchise as well, but it was just unbelievable to see a character walk from one building to another building with no CGI, just the entire backdrop. It's just like, it really made you like, and he was wearing the sunglasses, he was in a suit, which was probably too fucking warm at the time, but it was just like, I get it, I understand, I completely understand the city, the world, the vibe that the movie's going for. And even in this movie as well, like there's a fantastic chase scene that I kind of mentioned to you when we were watching it, is very reminiscent of the movie Bullet, but again, all on location, natural lighting, like it all seemed very real. And like again, a movie these days, it could have been a CGI or a C car. We could maybe describe it a bit more later on, but like, and it just would have completely taken you out of it. But this felt very real. So I agree there.
Yeah, and I know that's kind of why I'm drawn to them as well. It's like, it's good action. Like, okay, they mightn't be great movies, and it might be a bit predictable, and they might be all a bit the samey, but like, I'm not really selling it here, but like I
get you.
They're kind of more realistic than what you'd watch now, and generally, like, he's not, okay, maybe in this one I don't think he got bet up too much. Well, he did a little bit, but like, he can also get hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no sense of like indestructibility kind of thing. He can, so like, yeah, no, I think they're kind of, they're generally a bit more realistic, I think, than movies, kind of action movies brought out now, like nowadays. Like, say the first Die Hard as well, like that was class. The action in that is class. That'd be kind of my take on it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And again, like, no, I just thought it was kind of an interesting thing to kind of, because I know you've seen a lot of them. But yeah, I guess in terms of this movie, I once again, like I think with these sort of like with this one, I was just love the concept of it so much. I like the idea of it. There was some great like kind of cool twists and I think what this franchise kind of benefits from is that like they understand there's a formula, so when they deviate from it, they understand that they can be quite shocking and stuff. And I think with this one, kind of making you think who the villain is going to be versus being able to potentially shift from that is quite interesting. Also, another kind of like interesting thing with the franchise is that every time Clint Eastwood has a partner, that person dies.
Oh yeah,
so,
it's happening.
It's great. It's like, but it's one of those things where it's like, it's not even like it's not even like just, it's something known within the like within like people who watch it. It's referenced within the movie that he's like, itself. When he gets a new partner, it's like, he goes, oh, all of my partners die, to the point where like one of the partner he has in this movie gets like, because he's like an American Chinese detective, and he's like, my grandfather or my father has made me get like protective tattoos to stop me from dying because they know I'm your partner.
Well, I do think it's like a bad I don't know, what do you call them, tropes? I don't know what the fuck that is either. Like a trope, yeah. You know, of like, okay, let's introduce like the kind of innocent looking sidekick. And you just know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't happen in this movie. Like, he's fine, but, like, you know.
Spoilers for the Deadpool, Keen. Come on, we don't want to ruin this movie for people who are clearly going to hear this and go out and watch it. Sidebar, just watch Dirty Harry. I wish I had just watched Dirty Harry and didn't watch the others, but here I am.
Yeah, and like, the terrible thing is that, like, I remembered again, like, it always happens. I've watched so many of these movies, I remembered about 3/4 of the way through. I have seen it, because I couldn't remember when we pitched it to each other. It was like, I can't remember, but yeah, go out and watch the first one.
Go out and watch okay, from now on there's going to be spoilers, but go out and watch the first Dirty Harry, and we're just going to spoil this movie now. But realistically, who cares? Because it's only going to be like 4 people who listen to this one probably. But nobody knows.
Including me, you, and my translator.
Yes. Sorry, no, but what about, he survives in this one, but I thought what was cool about this guy, the actor who plays the partner, whose name I do not have here, is Evan C. Kim, but he did all of his own stunts, which I thought was very cool, because he has a whole like fight scene in it, which is
even the kickdown, that was class.
Because of course he knows like karate or kung fu or whatever, like martial art he knows, because like, of course, like it's 1988, they were like, we need to have a character do like karate or kung fu, so we'll give him the partner. He has his karate scene or kung fu. I don't know, unfortunately, what type of martial art it is, but like, I know Clint Eastwood being like, yeah, put it in there and all. Well, he's doing that, I just shoot people. How about that? I thought of a good Clint Eastwood impression.
And I love when he comes out of the restaurant, he's like, why did you arrest him?
Yeah, it's like, it's so fun. Yeah, because like, it's fun. Actually, here's the thing I have for you. So I have all of the kill counts for Dirty Harry in all of the movies. So in the first one, he only kills 5 people. In the second one, he kills 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 16. Oh my God. 17, 18, 19, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36 people. I think that's the most. And then in the third one, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the fourth one, it's 1, 4, 5, 8, 9, 11, 16, 17, 18. And then this one, he only kills, what, 4, 7, 9, 10 people in this. It's not too many. But you do get the sense from him where he's like telling his partner, what are you doing? Just trying to like apprehend, just shoot them in the face and just be on with it. Like, just,
yeah, he came out of the restaurant with the gun like locked and pointed, and he's just there like, man,
the stake, just trying to, like, you're gonna have to handcuff them, then you're gonna have to get fingerprints,
the
just shoot them in the face. It's easier. Yeah. What else do I love about this movie? He has some great one-liners in all of the movies. He's obviously very known for his, Tommy Punk. I'm definitely butchering the line. What's it go like? You gotta ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky?
Yeah.
Well, Punk, do you? I think I got that right. And then obviously in the fourth one, it's like, come on, make my day. And in this one, it probably has one of my favorite ones, which I think summarizes the whole Reeling in the Peers podcast experience, which is opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Great one-liners in all the movies. He does a great deadpan delivery.
He does. And like he's got loads of like just little... There's a scene as well early on where it's like the lieutenant is... He's like telling him to be more responsive to the media, and he's like trying to butter him up, saying, look, come on, just like, you've got loads of airtime now, you're really popular, come on, just roll with it, give us some good press and bring us in some money. And he reaches then to put his hand like on Callahan's back or whatever, and like Callahan just like turns around and just looks at him. He's like,
Callahan being Dirty Harry.
Don't touch me.
It's just he's a man who just hates everyone and just like he always says he wants to talk about justice, but I don't know how much of that is just him wanting to murder other people. Like I wish there was like a Dirty Harry spin-off of him being like a parking attendant and people with overdue tickets just drawing a 44 Magnum on them.
Lollipop person.
Unloading 6 rounds into someone who tries to break the lights.
The lollipop turns into a harpoon gun.
Because yeah, that's another thing in this movie, the climactic scene. How does he kill the villain? Because he clearly was just like, I'm not coming back for another Dirty Harry movie unless I get to shoot something bigger than a 44 Magnum. And then one of the writers is like, what, a harpoon gun? And he goes, yeah, that, yeah. Like, I can't do a good Clint Eastwood. He's like, yeah, harpoon gun. Yeah, I'll shoot a harpoon gun.
I want to pin him to the wall.
I want to pin him to the wall. But again, and like again, no recoil at all.
No, he's fine.
Easy breezy. But here's another thing as well, actually. So just during that fight scene, when I saw him running around, I was like, what age is he? He's 58 in this movie. And then I was trying to think of other action stars around the same age. Do you want to know who's 1 year older than him in that scene we saw?
John Voight.
Tom Cruise.
Oh, even worse.
I know. Like, wind forward 30 years. Not even 40 years. Less than 40 years. Maybe like 35 years. From what we saw as Clint Eastwood running around. We have Tom Cruise jumping off buildings, strapping himself to like planes.
Hell. Jesus.
It's crazy.
Is he that old?
Tom Cruise is 59 at the moment. Anyone that doesn't like, just go Google Clint Eastwood, the Deadpool, and just look at that man. And then Google Tom Cruise 2022. And then just like, spot the difference in just every way, shape, or form.
But he's kind of one of those people who just like, he's always looked old. Because he still looks like the same now.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, like it's incredible to me that I see him in the Deadpool from 1988 and then knowing that 40 years later he's still alive. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I'm very surprised by it. It's like, I tell you what, it's the same way Queen Elizabeth II. Like, she's always looked old. And then like okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to go back. I want you to Google Queen Elizabeth II 1988 and then Queen Elizabeth 2022 and just spot the difference.
But here's something.
Dirty Harry.
It's like,
here we go.
I think maybe that's the reason, because there was a big point of contention now for both of us here. It's just that in the scene where he finally brings out, no, it's when he's with the reporter.
The wall man.
Yes, the reporter who is a woman, Gary.
No, I was just saying the token woman, the token woman of the Dirty Harry movie.
She brings him out to
dinner
to try and get his story or whatever, and he doesn't finish his pint. He just takes a little sip.
Just pint, and it was a pint of Guinness. First of all, in the incorrect glass, and just doesn't finish the pint. I'm just very upset by him, and like clearly, like, I don't know. I don't think I agree with this with the morals of this Dirty Harry man.
No, I don't either. I think he should have finished the pint at least, but But he looks like a fit guy. There was lots of scenes of him running and gymming.
It's him in the gym. There's a great scene actually in this movie where they're in a gym and there's people all around. So there's like him and the sidekick working out, but like all of the extra characters are like using machines, but like with no weights. No. And like this one woman with like 2 dumbbells and like it's like, you know, the ones where you can add the weights to it, but they're like there's nothing on them. But I found some trivia for it. So the reason why they did that was because of like retakes, and they didn't want the extras to be like exhausted.
Oh, just keep loading like, them on.
Actual weights. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like he seems like he was in pretty good shape for the film. I think
like 90 fucking, what is he now? 91, and he was only in a movie like last year. It was like called Cry Macho or something.
Yeah.
He's a great director.
That's another good line, actually. Do you remember when he was in the Chinese store and he ran in the back door and your man's going around
yes,
and he's going around the store trying to get everyone's money or whatever, and because he's gone in the back, he's in like the last booth or whatever, and your man just comes up to him and he's like, he's just looking at him. Clint Eastwood has a little fortune cookie. He breaks it open.
You haven't read your fortune. I can't do what Clint Eastwood's driving me insane.
You're shit out of luck.
You're shit out of luck. My Clint Eastwood's more Jack Nicholson. If anyone's...
But yeah, I don't know. Like,
some great one-liners. Was very. But in terms of like performances in this movie, Clint Eastwood obviously, like, it is very all one note from Dirty Harry. I actually think his character Dirty Harry in the first movie, Dirty Harry, is very nuanced and really interesting. And I think ever since then he was just like, okay, I'll just do like the most simplified version of that from here on out. But it's fine. It's like, it's kind of like, it's probably like Taken, Liam Neeson in Taken, where it's like, everyone knows me for this one thing and I'll do that a few more times, but he's done it across a big span of movies. But speaking of Northern Ireland actor Liam Neeson, he is in this movie doing a very convincing British accent for a man who's notorious for not being able to do accents. He is very good in this.
It was fantastic. I forgot completely. I forgot most of the movie, to be honest. It was only halfway through that I remembered I'd watched it. But his accent is really, really good. It's a great. It's it was really convincing kind of character as well. Like, he's kind of set up to be the villain for most of the movie. You think it's going that way anyway, and then.
So he's playing like the director of like a horror movie, and Jim Carrey is the star of that horror movie, and he's the first one killed. And Liam Neeson is like one of the people playing this like Deadpool, where you have to guess the celebrities that are going to die, and it looks as if Liam Neeson's list is the one that all the celebrities are dying from, so everyone thinks it's Liam Neeson. So it's a lot of Liam Neeson just being like, it's not me, I didn't do it, blah blah blah. I don't know why I was gonna sink into you ever seen In the Name of the Father?
Yeah.
I was gonna sink into like Daniel something I didn't do it. It was absolute father died British prison for something I didn't do. Sorry. Just niche reference for anyone listening from anyway. But it was very good. It was just him just telling the press, being like, fuck off, it wasn't me, leave me alone.
And I don't know. Like, he was
he had a great ponytail, great
little rat
tail.
Yeah, a little rat tail. Like, it was very good. Very convincing character.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Didn't ham it up. It's perfect. It was great. It was actually, I'd love to see Liam Neeson current day with a bit of range like that. No offense to Liam Neeson, but if I see another poster of him as an old man with a gun in a leather jacket with something about him being ex-CIA, Marine, FBI, something, and it's no Liam Neeson. He's just all of his. The point is, Liam Neeson is doing the same shit as like forever. But seeing him in this, I was like, my God, it's like, of all the Liam Neeson shit I've seen, it's like, it's different, which I like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I like that. I like that shit.
Another person who has a great performance in this movie is Jim Carrey. Let's talk about Jim Carrey, because like, it's the month of May. It's the big long name thing that I said earlier. I thought Jim Carrey was quite good in this. I think he had a good time in it. You know what I mean? He really conveyed.
Very animated until he wasn't.
Very animated. And he died. within 15 minutes, and I was so upset. I was like, my God, I've picked a movie which Jim Carrey's in for maybe less than 4 minutes. It's fine.
Well, what a lasting 4 minutes.
I know. It's the whole movie kicks off with him. It's like Drew Barrymore in Scream. I don't know. You ever watched Scream? The first Scream?
I think so.
Okay, well, spoiler alert for Scream. Whereas the whole movie was like, Drew Barrymore was in all the advertisement, but she was like the first person to die. So I was like, oh my God, anyone could die in this movie. And I like to think it was the opposite for this movie. When Jim Carrey died and they were like, oh yeah, cool, the person we just met and the actor we've just heard about has died. Because the actor, Jim Carrey, was so unknown at the time that in the credits his name is James Carrey. Because they just didn't know what to put down as his name. But what was kind of interesting and what I discovered about this when I was looking into how he was cast was he came into the audition, but he didn't, like, what he read wasn't part of the script. He just did his Vegas Elvis Presley act, and it just apparently Clint Eastwood found it so funny he was like, yeah, he's in the movie. And there's a second movie that Jim Carrey's in with Clint Eastwood called Pink Cadillac, also with the same director called Buddy Van Horn, I think his name is, and he's only in that to do the Vegas Elvis Presley thing. That's all he does in the movie. So they just was like, oh, that's really funny, let's put that in the movie, which is just part of his stand-up. But what's also quite funny is that Jim Carrey is notorious for his Clint Eastwood impression. It's in Bruce Almighty, it's in his early stand-up, and I just love that this, like, I didn't know he was in a movie with Clint Eastwood, so to find that out, it was just like, oh, how cool is that? But he's great now. I had a great time with it.
Yeah, no, it was good. Bit short. I'm kind of disappointed because, like, I love seeing actors like that as well and coming out with, like, different sort of performances. And, like, in my mind, like, when I think of Jim Carrey, it's always just Ace Ventura or Bruce Almighty or...
Mm-hmm. Good stuff, like, yeah?
Good stuff, yeah. Of course, of course. I'm just saying a different...
Yeah. Actually, just like side tangent though, if you were to pick one good Jim Carrey movie that you liked, what is it? The audience at home, he's been silent for 15 minutes and I've shortened it down to try and cut down the awkwardness.
I think it would be the Deadpool.
Deadpool. Oh, wow.
As we said, like, they were a really lasting 4 minutes.
Yo, yeah. So his character is like, he's playing some actor who's doing like he's singing Welcome to the Jungle. He's lip syncing Welcome to the Jungle in a horror movie that's like ripping off The Exorcist, where there's like a possessed woman on the bed and he's just like mouth singing, dancing about, and it's very weird. I like, again, what else how do I fill Jim Carrey content when he's not in it for that long? He dies because he injects himself with like coke and heroin and ODs as someone murders him. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all the Jim Carrey you get in this. It's his, what I really enjoyed was it's dubbed as his first dramatic role. I'm like, there's nothing dramatic about this. It's just Jim Carrey being a wild rock star for like 4 minutes
and getting to flail his limbs about for a little bit.
Look, you're not casting Jim Carrey unless you need the character to flail their limbs for a bit. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a good performance, and yeah, I don't know. Kind of, I don't know why they was he really like that small of an actor back then? Like,
no,
age?
Yeah, like Jim Carrey became.
Fill me some facts here about Jim Carrey.
I'm not.
Set the table. Get the bread and butter out now for the rest of the month. Come on, set the teapot.
No, like, all I'll say is Jim Carrey is one of the greatest performers to have ever existed. He's done some stupid shit in terms of like movie choices, but we all have. Terms of like, yeah, we all have. Like, look, you can look back at some of the podcasts I've done and thought, jeez, what was he thinking? But look, we won't talk about Josie Wales. but it was 1994, so this movie came out in 1988. It was really 1994 because in 1994 Jim Carrey did Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, and The Mask, and
it was a good year.
It was good vintage. I don't think there's an actor that has had as successful a year as Jim Carrey in 1994. I'm happy to be corrected. Maybe Tom Holland if he includes Spider-Man and Uncharted together, but I wouldn't. But it was just like to the point where I think it was the Dumb and Dumber people paid him like nothing for that movie. And then Jim Carrey's agent was trying to get money to be like, give him a percentage of the gross because like this movie's going to make like so much more money now because you have Jim Carrey in it and stuff. So yeah, it really wasn't until 1994. But he was a stand-up until then. Like he had done a lot of like, he was on Dave Letterman. He had done some Comedy Store stuff. But yeah, and like I was kind of saying earlier, the only reason he got cast in this was because he was funny. And it was funny. I was watching a movie last night that he's in. Here's a fun, just an idea of a movie. I wouldn't say go watch it because it's not great, but it's a movie called When Peggy Sue Got Married, which I know a lot of people probably haven't heard. Oh, you fuck off! Do you know that movie?
I've heard of it. I don't know if I've watched it.
Okay, it's got Catherine Turner in it, Helen Hunt, but most surprisingly, it's got Nicolas Cage and Jim Carrey in it.
Nicolas Cage, yeah.
And it's directed by Francis Ford Coppola. And if you had told me there was a Francis Ford Coppola movie with Jim Carrey and Nick Cage in it, I would have not believed you. But anyway, it was before this, and he has a small role in that as well. So, it's interesting to see him as such a background character, but yet steal so much focus from him being a silly buffoon. Anyway, that's all the Jim Carrey stuff I'll talk about. I have another fun fact about the name of this movie, because it is obviously very close to the name of a Marvel superhero played by Ryan Reynolds called Deadpool. Yeah. But apparently, Rob Liefeld, who created the character of Deadpool, admitted that the title of this movie was the inspiration for the name of the Marvel Comics anti-hero character Deadpool. So there you go.
I often wondered, is it like an actual thing? I don't know. Because when I heard the name, when you suggested the movie, it got me thinking about it again. Like, I don't know if I ever made the connection between them. Because, like, is there a thing about having a hit list?
I know there's a thing about guessing what people are going to die in a year. Like, what celebrities are going to die. I'm just on Wikipedia now, and I don't see one. I know my mate... Oh, yes, a Deadpool. It is a thing. A Deadpool, also known as a Deadpool or Death Pool, is a game of prediction which involves guessing when someone will die. Sometimes it is a bet where money is involved. Should we start a Deadpool, Keith?
Gary, I was actually going to ask you, if you were to set up a Deadpool, like, who would be on your list? Okay,
so should we try and guess when John Hackett's going to die?
No, he's indestructible. Like, they already tried to get him.
He is indestructible. That is very true.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. He's fucked. I know, the man is indestructible.
Right, do we have to try and guess when someone else is going to die? Should we try and guess when Queen Elizabeth II dies?
Can we do it? Is that okay to have on a podcast?
I feel like it's so
Can we be bold on this?
Like, sure. Like this could be cut.
Okay, Queen Elizabeth. She's one of those people. She could already be dead. She could be gone, Gary. She could.
Yeah, by the time this comes out. I get November 2022. I'm like, yeah, I'm giving it until then. That might even be too late. She's on the way out.
Here we go. Someone who keeps popping into my head.
Here we go. I've three people you have to try and guess when they're going to die: Clint Eastwood, Queen Elizabeth II, and Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Well, Tom Cruise, I hope. No, I can't say that. I feel bad, but I'm thinking it.
You don't like Tom Cruise? I forgot.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Tom Cruise now. Cruiser. He's he's just...
You should really watch Edge of Tomorrow. You will love that movie.
I
know. I'm not gonna even try.
He's like the American version of Hugh Grant. Just don't like him.
The Gentleman.
It was good. Yeah, it was. It was good. You know, it was fine. I enjoyed it, but still, it's the hair.
Don't you worry. Just you wait until next year, where I do an entire month dedicated to Tom Cruise and Hugh Grant. And I'll find a movie. Right, if we're going to keep the Deadpool bit up, right, you have to tell me when Tom Cruise, Queen Elizabeth II, and Clint Eastwood are dying.
Well,
to the month. I want to ask
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise is 59, Clint Eastwood's 91, and Queen Elizabeth is... Queen Elizabeth. This has got so derailed. She's 96.
Oh, I'm going to give her another, 2 years. Yeah. And those royals, they hang on, look at the man. Like he was like no spectre of a man. Like he was gone.
Right,
No,
okay,
literally.
what are you saying? Queen Elizabeth, what are you saying? I'm saying November this year.
No,
And there's money on this, by the way.
the price of a pint.
Yeah, 2 points. 3 points. You get
3
a pint
points.
for everyone you get right. You get a pint for everyone you get right, and whoever gets closer wins. How about that?
Okay.
This could be our Deadpool. So I'm saying the Queen dies November this year. That's my hot take.
Okay. I'm going to say November next year.
Okay, that's a bit dickish, but alright.
And
Right.
whoever is closer gets
Yeah, gets a pint. Yeah, Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. How old is he now?
He's 91. I'm giving him till January. I'm gonna say January 2023.
No, fuck that. I'm going to give. He's like John now. There's another 5 or 6 years left in him. Yeah,
Right, so
I'm
what are you
going to
saying?
give him
What are you
until 2028.
I need a month.
April. I like April.
April. Oh, yeah.
This is the last
And
day
then
of April.
and then Tom Cruise. What are we saying?
Tomorrow. Coincidentally,
Okay.
he's at Lake Como. It's only a short train
when
journey
it-
away.
So whenever this comes out, it's the day
Of
after
course,
that.
you know, if anything does happen, this is all incriminated. I'm the translator. I'm not keen at all.
Okay. What age is he now? It's 59. Give him like 20, 30 more years. So I'm going to say 2026. Why not? I'm going to say...
2026? That's only 4 years away.
Oh, no, sorry. 2046. No, that's another 20 years.
2049 with Ryan Gosling.
No, I'm going to say 2056. We can go with that.
Okay.
Why not? Fuck it. There's 3 pints on the line here, and we have it recorded so people know.
I kind of feel like David Attenborough's on the way out. Is that a bad thing to say?
I would say so. Yeah, he's very old as well, isn't he? Oh, he's
Yeah.
95. Yeah. This has gotten very grim very quickly. Keen, we need to stop talking about people who are going to die soon.
But can you hear the colours and taste the sounds, Gary? Oh, sorry, that was probably
Right.
very careful. That was one of your man's last quotes from the film.
Yeah. The one we're supposed to be talking about rather than trying
Yeah.
to guess when the Queen's going to die. Okay, right. I don't have much else to say about this movie other than a phenomenal RC car chase that if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it.
I'm just looking at my notes here, and I didn't write very many, so I'm kind of all done as well.
Let's talk about this RC car chase. What is this? This is probably one of the big... It's somehow one of the biggest and smallest action scenes of the movie.
Yeah, so this is kind of, I suppose, where the murderer is kind of coming out a little bit. Like, he's coming out from hiding. He's kind of going after Clint Eastwood. He's already killed one of the guys on the list with a similar method with the toy car.
Yeah.
But essentially, he's going after Clint Eastwood and his sidekick, Clint Eastwood, really, using a small remote-controlled car with an explosive attached to it, or integrated into it, or whatever. And they're like, he's driving along behind them, and he's also steering the little toy car out on the road, trying to get underneath Clint Eastwood's car. But it's a mad chase. Like, I can't remember where Clint Eastwood, they figure out that they're... Where do they see how do they make the connection that they're being followed?
Because there's like kids with an RC car and you think that like they're just playing, then all of a sudden there's this very ominous car, toy car chasing them.
Yeah.
And like, again, with the amount of bullshit I watch on a yearly basis, I have seen nothing like this, which is just an actual car chase through the hills of San Francisco with Clint Eastwood and his partner in a car being chased by an explosive toy car. And it's so stupid, but so thrilling because it's very much reminiscent to the car chase in Bullet, which is a famous car chase in movie history of just bouncing around the hills of San Francisco. But to see that replicated with with a proper car and a toy car, it's just so ludicrous that I couldn't help but just applaud the movie, which I think is one of my and as much as I was joking about Jim Carrey being my favorite part of the franchise, this for all the sequels I think was just so stupid but also so funny and smart at the same time, because there is that level, there's a level of danger, like it's not a piss take. There's like if they don't outchase this car or outrun this car, they're going to die. So I was so happy with it. Apparently, like, it was one of the longest shoots of the movie as well. So well worth it in my opinion.
No, it was great. It was good, and like like you said, it was. It did seem a bit comic, or it does look a bit comical, but at the same time, like, it does come across as being quite realistic. I don't know how. I don't think I could control a toy car while driving at that speed. Also, but, if you could, I mean,
you can barely drive a car to begin with.
Well, I have to relearn all over again over here anyway. I get a chance of doing it twice. But yeah, no, it was great, and and fairly climactic as well towards the end, like where they actually. I didn't actually know what was going to happen there, where he does catch up with them, because I thought for a minute the way they were like panning the shots or like switching between the shots, you'd kind of thinking that Clint Eastwood or Callahan had fooled your man and their car was actually somewhere else. It's just, but no, it is their car and it does explode, but Clint Eastwood somehow manages to drive it just enough away from the bomb, but so it was fairly kind of climactic or whatever. But it does mean, like, his sidekick does get bust up or whatever, so that's kind of him out for the rest of the movie.
He has those magical tattoos that stop him from getting injured.
So he didn't die, yeah.
He didn't die. Very surprising, because he's had his part, again, spoilers, the partners in the first 3 movies die. He doesn't have a partner in the 4th one so much as he has a friend, but they die. And then this guy just gets injured. So I think it's the first one. Actually, there's an actor. I don't have his name, which I feel awful. But there's here it is. Albert Popwell. And he's played a different character in all 4 Dirty Harry movies before this, which is why I was upset that I didn't see him in this. He plays a robber in Dirty Harry, a pimp in Magnum Force, a militant in The Enforcer, and Horace King, his friend, in Sudden Impact. And I was very upset that he didn't make an appearance in this, because it's always a different character. But apparently he had a scheduling conflict, which makes me sad. 2 other things I want to say very quickly before this, which one, it's 3 other things. One, it's the last sequel Clint Eastwood ever made, because he hasn't made any other sequels after this of any movie.
Oh.
That. But on the topic of sequels, he said someone had asked him in 2000 if he was doing another sequel. He goes, Dirty Harry 6. Harry is retired. He's standing in a stream fly fishing. He gets tired of using the pole and ba-boom. Or Harry is retired and he catches bad guys with his walker. That was Clint Eastwood's response. And that's all we've ever heard on a Dirty Harry sequel. He's so disinterested by it. But apparently there was also a thing where people thought Gran Torino was going to be a secret Dirty Harry
like
sequel,
a callback or whatever.
Yeah, well, nobody, like, people just thought he was shooting it and then it would turn out to be a Dirty Harry sequel, which was not. I actually haven't seen it, but I'm probably going to take I'm going to take a 5-year break from seeing Clint Eastwood movies, I think.
But like, they're not bad. Like, think about.
I'll get round to it.
Like,
I'll get round to it. In movies this year. I'll get round to fucking Gran Torino, alright?
$1 Million Baby surprise. I guarantee a Gran Torino will surprise you in the exact same way.
Oh, I'll get round to it, don't you worry. I just need a bit of a break from Clint, alright? I've seen a lot of
And Jim Carrey is in it as well, actually.
Ooh!
Yeah. He's got a very, very small role.
Ooh! Does he play one of the youths on Clint Eastwood's lawn?
There's words I want to say, but I can't say them on the podcast.
No. Speaking of words you can't say, so what you call it. They're the names of these movies I've always found quite interesting because the Deadpool makes sense, Dirty Harry makes sense, but the three other movies do not make sense in my opinion. There's Magnum Force, The Enforcer, and Sudden Impact.
Yeah, I'm lost. Like, for me, I watched them so long ago, they're all mixed up in my mind.
Okay, yeah, because I don't really understand, because having watched the movies, I don't know why they were called that, but I can only decipher that they were either named after a sex move, a porno, or a male enhancement pill. The Dirty Harry. Magnum Force. The Enforcer. Sudden Impact. And then Deadpool doesn't work, but look, come on. 4 out of 5 ain't bad, as Meatloaf once said. Yeah, what else do you want? I've got all my jokes done.
Yeah, I got nothing. I never had any jokes to begin with, so... yeah, I'm out of practice, Gary. If only, like, you'd invite me on for more podcasts.
And we didn't wait a year.
We didn't wait a year.
But, like, look...
How many have I done now?
That's 4. So your next one's
Bollocks.
the big uber special one. So like you could pick the so I won't make you because the last 2 I've made you pick. So your next one will be the big 5 Timers Club entry movie. So I'll let you pick that and then that can be whatever you want. How about that? Make
It's
up
gonna
for
be Willow. It's gonna be Willow. Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll lock it in. We'll do Willow. I haven't seen it in years because it ties into like the Disney
Have you watched it?
that they're making years ago. Like
Wow.
I couldn't tell you what happens.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. We'll watch it. Yeah, we'll do Willow. How about that?
Yeah. We'll do Willow.
Okay. Well, anything else to say about the Deadpool or Clint Eastwood? Because to be honest, Cian, it's probably the last Clint Eastwood movie we fucking do because I have seen enough of that man.
No, he's in Willow.
Is he Willow? Give me my wand back. I want my wand. I don't know. Is there a wand? I think there's a wand involved.
There's a wand.
This is a magical wand and it can blow your head off. It's just one question you gotta ask yourself.
You're all shit out of luck.
R-rated Willow. Is Val Kilmer in Willow?
Zap. Yeah, Val Kilmer's in it. Yeah.
Oh, watch it for that. I love a bit of Val Kilmer. Batman Forever. Take a piece.
Batman Forever.
Batman. Right, Cian. I think that's Deadpool. The Deadpool.
That's the Deadpool. Maybe, yeah.
God. Anyway, so I'm completely out of practice because I don't really know how to end these podcasts anymore. But all I'll say is, if you want to keep up to date with the podcast and know what's going on, you can follow @Reading in the Queers on Instagram.
Oh, don't you worry. I listen to them all the time.
I was talking to the listener, Cian, not you.
Okay, sorry.
I'm done talking to you now. You're done. Fuck off.
Is this the outro?
This is the outro. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, keep
Is there
going.
anything else you
Keep going. No, sorry. Keep going.
Oh, I feel like I need to throw it over to you to make sure there's nothing else you need to say.
No, it's just I'm so rarely on. You never invite me on these anymore.
You're not on for another year, Cian. And then by then, who knows? Tom Cruise might be dead. The Queen might be dead.
No,
it
won't take a year for Tom Cruise.
It's gonna be a different world by the time we talk next. So yeah, Letterboxd is a great website that myself and Mr. Scanlon use for keeping track of the movies we watch. We put up reviews and stuff like that. It's really interesting. You can follow me at Gary O'Brien, spelt ridiculously. It's not on the links. Yeah, it's GARIOBORAIN.
Is that not how you spell your name?
You're right. Yeah, that's how I spell it. And yeah, you can follow me there, or this DScanlon10. That's where we put up a lot of our reviews. We also follow some of our other friends if you want to follow them. That's about it. I don't really know what else to say. That's really it. Letterboxd, Instagram, give the podcast 5 stars on Spotify. What else more do you want? There's a poll on this episode, which I might just have the question, or I might have the open question.
Wait, what
do you
poll?
think? I can put up a poll like that, like like where people can select an answer. But I could
For
put the
what?
options of like when do you think Tom Cruise will die?
Oh,
Like, I'll
do
put
it.
an option.
Yeah, do it. See how much traction we can get.
Yeah, see how much traction. So like we'll do like, tomorrow, within a week. We'll put a range on it, but we'll just try and get a gauge of when people think Tom Cruise is gonna bite the bullet. And that's about it. Cian, any final words?
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for listening. For this or any other ones, again, thank you very much.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.